Alright, so today we're talking about labels. Also, my cat is here. And now she's not. So, excuse me, ma'am. I'm trying to do a thing. Here. Say hi to the people, Lucky. She turned 18. So, before that interruption, I should probably re-record this, but you know what? I'm gonna leave that in. Because the internet loves cats, right? And besides, this is nothing professional. I'm not monetizing this. This is from my own recollection when I eventually finish my gender journey. If there ever really is a finishing point, I mean. I'm not sure the gender journey ever ends. Anyway, topic at hand. Labels. So, labels are just tools to help you know yourself a little bit better. Like, I have 2 labels that I've always gone with. Well, not always. I've even had a few difficulties, we'll call it, with finding the right label for myself. For example, when I was questioning whether or not I'm really non-binary, because at the time I still partially ID'd with being female, but I also acknowledged I don't feel female. I don't feel like I'm a woman, but I still have some kind of ties to my womanhood / femininity. And over time, that kind of changed to I don't ID with femininity or womanhood at all anymore. So the term non-binary really does seem to fit. Now, the label trans took me a bit before I accepted it, because I feel like trans means you're transitioning. You're changing from one thing to another. And for the most part, I wasn't really changing. I was just being the same person I always have been. So I didn't feel like I deserved the label trans, because I'm not actively transitioning. But with my recent-ish journey for top surgery, and just coming to terms that you don't have to be actively changing to be trans, you just have to be not cis, I adopted that label. So now I'm non-binary trans. And recently, and by recently I mean about 2 or 3 days ago, I also adopted Demi-Boy into my into my little system. Because if asked about my gender, at least by other queer people, I usually go with non-gender with left mask, or non-gender with left boy. I tend to use mask and boy interchangeably. And going back through some of the labels, Demi-Boy seems pretty on target with that. Which is funny because when I was first trying to figure out what exactly I am years ago, I tried Demi-Boy, and at the time it felt wrong. Now, I've gone over this before. I tried like 9 or 10 different labels before I just gave up on it altogether. You name it, I've probably considered it. So to kind of circle back around and realize, actually, as I've come into my own as a non-binary person, Demi-Boy does feel pretty good. It's kind of funny how fluid gender can be. Like, if you asked me a few years ago, because I still had some ties to my womanhood, I would have said, no, I'm not a Demi-Boy. But now it works. Labels are funny like that. Stuff that didn't fit you before might fit you down the road. Or maybe you just forego a label altogether. I know people who've done that because they think labels are restricting and unnecessary. And I can totally understand that. I should know, labels can be complicated and frustrating. And I can see how they would be restricting. So if you don't use a label at all, that's great. That works for you. And I'm good. And I'm good with that. I'm proud of you for that. Now, for some people like me, a label is, maybe not necessarily necessary, but it feels good to have a word you can point to and go, that's me. And I think everyone should experiment with labeling themselves, even if you're cis. Maybe you're curious, maybe you might try something more androgynous or more feminine or more masculine, what have you. It's okay to experiment with your cis, even if you find out at the end of all of it, yeah, you're still cis. But now you've unlocked Cis Plus, so you know yourself even better than you did before. And it might help you be able to empathize with other trans people. There's no harm in experimenting. I mean, all it does is let you know yourself a little bit better. And isn't that really one of the goals in life? To know yourself and who you are with certainty? I mean, yeah, like I said, some people forgo labels, some people are like me and rely on labels, or maybe you're somewhere in between. The point is, labels are tools to help you. They're not boxes to stuff yourself in. Like, again, talking about myself here, my problem a few years ago is I was trying to stuff myself into more specific boxes because I like to compartmentalize in my brain. But it didn't work out. And now I'm a lot more secure in who I am, so trying again, I found that I don't have to restrict myself to specific things. And, importantly, you can have more than one label. Hell, just for my gender alone, I've got 3. Trans, non-binary, demi-boy. You can have all the labels you want, you can have no labels. Either way is fine. You do you, it's your life. No one else can tell you how to live it. I just personally think they're helpful. And they're meant to be helpful. If you find that going through labels is stressful, you might be doing it wrong like I was. Or, I don't know, just sit on it for a few years and try again, see if anything's changed, if you feel any better about anything. You might not. You never really know till you try. And, like I said, labels aren't a strict thing either. You might find over time that your labels change. For example, getting away from gender, as far as sexuality goes, like, when I first heard of asexuality, I was sure that wasn't me. I mean, yeah, just because I don't find either men or women or otherwise attractive in a sexual way doesn't mean I'm asexual. Maybe I just haven't found that right person yet. Turns out I'm ace. Before I adopted asexual, I thought I was bisexual, because my interest in any other gender is the same, which is to say 0. Yeah, I got math involved. Not a great idea. And even romantic orientation, once I accepted, yeah, I'm asexual, but I'm definitely hetero-romantic. I want a husband and to get married someday. Yeah, that didn't quite work out, because when I thought about it, I've never really had a crush. So I took up the label demi-romantic, because I was convinced maybe I'll find that one special person and it'll make me feel feelings someday. So I wanted that door to be left open. A few years passed and I realized, you know what? I don't think I'm demi-romantic either. I think I'm just straight up aromantic. And that's what I've stuck with. So, labels are a journey. Sometimes they can change, you can have more than one. It's just how you are. There's nothing to be ashamed of if your label changes over time, or if you need more than one. Like I said, they're tools to help you understand you. So use them, or don't. It's up to you, really. I choose to use them because I like to compartmentalize. I don't know if that's the best mindset to have, or if that can be restricting, but that's just how my mind works. I like to sort things into categories. They can be vague categories, they can be super specific. In terms of like my gender, I like to think it's more vague now than it was a few years ago when I was trying. Either way, enough talking about me. So, experiment with labels. If you find one that you like, if you find multiple you like, stick with them. And if they change, that's fine too. And if you find you don't want labels at all, also fine. Not everyone needs labels. So, that's my TED Talk /rant /vlog. Whatever you want to call this video. I don't know. I'm just talking at my phone, hoping people will listen. So, have a great day.